Hi you guys, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I will be paying off all of my dental school student loans. So if you guys are new here, my name is Erika and I'm a third year dental student at USC. 2 years ago I made a video about the cost of dental school at USC and that number was over $500,000. The good thing for me is that I will not be graduating with over $500,000, but I will still be graduating with a lot of student loan debt. I'll just tell you guys the amount of student loan debt right now so you don't have to wait later on in the video. I will be graduating with $315,000 worth of student loan debt if I did my calculations correctly. So you might be wondering, how did I get this number so low compared to that $500,000 since I go to USC? So I currently have a Navy scholarship. It is not the Navy scholarship that you're probably thinking of. It is not the HPSP scholarship. It's a different scholarship called HSCP. This scholarship does not pay for my dental school tuition, but it instead gives me an income and I can use that income to pay off my rent, my mortgage, my car, my food, my living expenses. And then I usually have leftover income which I use to pay back some of my dental school student loans. So I'm going to start off from the beginning when I first started taking student loans out until where we are right now, and then hopefully you guys can follow on this journey until I am done paying them off. So we're starting off from the beginning. I just got into dental school. I didn't have the Navy scholarship yet. I took out all federal student loans from the government. I was offered the Graduate Plus student loan and the Stafford federal student loan. If you are a US citizen, you will be offered both of these loans. You sometimes need a co-signer for the Graduate Student Plus loan if you don't already have credit, so keep that in mind. So the interest rate for both of these loans was pretty high. The Graduate Plus loan was 7.6 at the time, and the Stafford federal student loan was 6.6%. So a couple months later, I got offered this Navy scholarship. So I had to make a decision. Do I want the Navy to help me pay for some of my student loans, but I still have to work for the Navy for 4 years? I basically have to give 4 years of my life to them and not get paid as much as I would if I was working in a private practice. As you guys know, I made the decision to join the Navy, and this is where we are today. I don't regret my decision because I've gotten so many benefits from being in the Navy that I think I made the right decision, but who knows who will know until I'm older and then look back at this video and then realize if I made the right decision or not. But right now I think I made the correct decision. So I decided to take the scholarship money. So now I have an income. My income is around $65,000 a year. So I use that money for rent, for food, for all of my living expenses, and then also I am paying back my student loans. So since I had the opportunity to pay back my student loans while I was in school, I decided to refinance my federal student loans. Right now in 2021, if I had federal student loans, I would be paying 0% for the interest rate. The interest rate would be 0 because nobody has been paying interest for federal student loans because of the illness that has been going on. So that's when I started realizing maybe I made a little bit of a mistake, because I could have been saving so much money on interest rate, because now that I have private student loans, I'm still paying off the interest for these new private student loans since I refinanced them. Let's go back to getting the scholarship. Okay, so I got the scholarship. Now I have the opportunity to pay back some of my student loans while I'm in school. So I decided to refinance them. So I refinanced around, I think $83,000, $86,000, somewhere in like the $80,000 worth of student loan debt. Before I refinanced, I was paying back some of my interest and some of the principal for the federal student loans, but it just made so much more sense to refinance because I got a lower interest rate and then I can pay my student loans off sooner. So I actually ended up refinancing a couple times. So my latest interest rates are actually pretty good. They're pretty low, but since they are private loans, I am still paying the interest off right now, even though some of you guys who have federal student loans are not paying interest right now because of the interest freeze. So I'm going to tell you about the 3 private loans that I currently have. I also have one federal loan because I started taking out federal loans just last year, once they announced the interest freeze, it just made sense for me to take out federal loans because I could be saving money on interest, because who knew when they would start up the interest again. And luckily the interest has not started back up again, so I made a good decision there. And also the interest rates for federal student loans dropped a lot since 2018, so that was another reason I decided to start taking out federal student loans again instead of the private student loans that I was taking out. So currently I have 3 private student loans, 1 federal student loan. The 3 private student loans that I have, one of them is through SoFi, the other one is through Laurel Road, and the third one is through Common Bond. They all have different interest rates because I refinanced them at different times, and I don't know, I didn't want to do them all together in case the interest rate of one was like higher than the other. I don't know. And also one of them is variable, but I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. So the first one, the most expensive student loan that I have is through SoFi. So my SoFi student loan is currently at $57,846, and the interest rate for that is 4.444%. So this student loan was actually around $86,000 like a couple years ago, and I've been paying a lot of that down. So I'm pretty proud of myself knowing that we are at $57,000 now. Okay, my second student loan that is private is with Laurel Road, and that balance is at $42,511, and the interest rate for that private student loan is 3.95%. So the interest rates are dropping and dropping. And then my last private student loan that I have is around $7,000. It's with Common Bond, and that one is a variable interest rate of 2.8% more or less. Since it's variable, it could go up and down. The 3.95 and the 4.444% are fixed interest rates, so those won't change. I'm on, I believe, a 10-year payment plan for those, and the interest rate won't change. The variable one can change depending on how the market is. So my plan for that student loan is, if the interest rate shoots up to like higher than 5%, I'm just gonna put all of my money towards that student loan because, you know, I don't want to be paying more on interest. But for now, since it's so low and I foresee that the interest rates are gonna stay low based on what has been going on, I'm gonna keep that variable student loan and just make my minimum payments. For these 3 private student loans that I have, I make payments every single month. For my Common Bond one, I make about a $50 payment every month. For my Laurel Road one, I make about a $650 payment every month. And for my SoFi one, I make about an $850 payment every single month. So that's all the money that goes towards my student loans, no matter what. Sometimes if I have extra money, I put a little bit more towards them just because I want to pay back my student loans as soon as possible. So that is for my private loans. Now I do also have some federal loans because I started taking out federal loans last year in 2020 once the interest rate dropped so low that it just made sense to, and also there has been an interest rate or an interest freeze on all federal student loans, so it just made sense for me to have some federal student loans. So I have around $143,000 in federal student loans currently, and I will need to take out about $90,000 more since I have 1 more year left of dental school. So that means I will graduate with around $233 of federal student loans. So from now on, I'm only going to be taking out federal student loans just because it gives me a lot more flexibility. So when I graduate, I will have been making payments on my private student loans every single month until 2022. I won't be making any payments on my federal student loans until I graduate, of course. So once I graduate, I will be graduating with $315,000 of dental school student loan debt. I'm happy that is not that $500,000 that I thought I would graduate with. Things to keep in mind are that I have to work for the Navy for 4 years. I will be making around $100,000 a year as a dentist, but I could be making more if I was working at a private practice. So my income is not as flexible as if I were to not be working for the Navy. So that's something to keep in mind, a sacrifice that I thought was worth making, because I've gained a lot more from being in the Navy than I think if I wasn't in the Navy. How I will be paying these loans off, let me tell you guys. So my payment plan strategy is to pay off my private student loans first. So I will have about $78,000 in private student loans. So once I graduate, I will try to refinance my student loans again. I'm actually going to try to refinance my student loans again when I'm in school, just because there's no harm in refinancing your private student loans ever, because there's no downside about it. Your federal student loans, there are downsides. You don't want to just refinance those because you lose some of the benefits that you have with having federal student loans. So my plan is to refinance my private student loans, pay those off as quickly as I can. I will be done in 10 years maximum. My payment every month for 10 years will be around $1,000, which is totally doable. And then for my federal student loans, right now I'm thinking that I will do a income-based repayment plan. So I will graduate with $233 of federal student loans, and I'm going to be paying that off with a repayment plan. So that means I will be paying 10% of my income towards those loans every single month for 10 years, or it can also be 25 years, but I doubt I will be doing this for 25 years. The reason I'm doing this income-based repayment plan, or the reason why I think I will be doing this income-based repayment plan, is just to give me some more flexibility. If maybe 5 years out of dental school, I decide I want to buy a dental practice and I need money to put a down payment on a dental practice, for example, I'll have money saved up so I can do that. It gives me more flexibility instead of putting so much money towards my student loans. So that's why I'm deciding to do that. Another reason is that with federal student loans, I can also get them forgiven. So if I enjoy working as a dentist in the military, since it's a government job, it qualifies for PSLF, which is Public Service Loan Forgiveness. So if I work for the Navy as a dentist for 10 years, I qualify for Public Service Loan Forgiveness, and I can get that loan amount forgiven tax-free after 10 years. So that seems like a great idea. The only reason that I didn't decide to do this plan from the very start was because who knows if I will love working as a military dentist for 10 years. I've never even done it, so I don't want to just tell myself that I have to work as a military dentist for 10 years if I've never done it and then just be stuck there and be miserable. Like, who knows? I wanted to give myself some flexibility. So that's where we are. Another thing that you can do is pay 10% of your income for 25 years, and then you can get your loans forgiven even if you work in the private sector, but you will have to pay a tax bomb at the end, so that's something to keep in mind. So that's another option that I have with my federal student loans, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Okay, let's talk about one more thing, which is the debt to income ratio. So something that I've been hearing from a lot of financial advisors, student loan planners, people that advise you on student loans, is that you want your debt to income ratio to be below 2. If it is above 2, then your best option is to do an income-based repayment plan to pay off your student loans. So my debt when I graduate will be $315,000, and then my income, I foresee it being around $169,000. So that is my income plus my husband's income, because if you're married, it is a joint income, and that is what determines the 10% that you have to pay towards your student loans every month. So $315,000 divided by $169,000 is less than 2. So that gives me hope that I'm gonna be okay and it's gonna be fine, but we'll see how it goes. So I hope you guys got some insight of what it's like to pay back student loans as a dental student. It's not plain and simple all the time. It's stressful. A lot of people don't like thinking about it because, like, if I think about it, I'm gonna be paying student loans off for 10 years and I have a military scholarship. What am I doing? That, like, what? I'm giving my life away to the government and I have tons of student loan debt. Okay, if you view it that way, it's very scary, but I choose to view it in a different way. Like, I'm still gonna have a great life. I'm still gonna have like a house, a car, a family, a dog hopefully, and I'll be able to make those student loan payments. I won't be financially struggling, even though the debt is still a lot. I can still have a good life with having debt. So that's just something to consider. Don't let student loans just take over your life, because it's just something you have to do. You know, if you want to be a dentist, sometimes this is the only way to do it. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments down below your student loan plan if you have one. Also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.